Just outside Jelenia Góra, I set out on what I thought would be a simple walk, but this route quickly turned into something else. Abandoned places, quiet landscapes, and a terrain that just keeps changing, leading all the way up into the mountains and back down through something that feels almost like another world, before suddenly finding elegance again, and pushing through one final climb to the point where it becomes less about the route and more about finishing the route. This was the route I took, a full day walk through forests, ruins, palaces and viewpoints, all just outside the city. And honestly, it was a lot more than I expected. I had a plan. It didn't quite go to plan. And here is the video to show you.
Dzień dobry and welcome to A Brit in Poland. With this channel, I travel across the country, I bring you the culture, and I show you just how amazing Poland is. So I invite you on my journey. If you want to see more, I have Facebook and Instagram profiles, which you will find links to in the description below. And if you want to really help out, you can turn to my Patreon or Patronite accounts, again in the description. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Do zobaczenia.
I set off on my journey through Jelenia Góra's quiet streets. And not far from the centre, you come across this, Czarny Dwór, a Renaissance manor from the 16th century, built by the powerful Zabek family, at one point even surrounded by a moat. Now, though, it feels abandoned, almost forgotten, still standing, but with no real sense of life around it. A relic to a different time, but still an important monument in Jelenia Góra's landscape. Even just walking through here, you start to notice small details everywhere. Old houses with little touches of personality. And all this is part of the Valley of Palaces and Gardens, at least the very edge of it, one of the densest clusters of historic estates in Europe. And then it opens up. A lovely walk through fields, quiet paths, where everything slows down. Leaving behind the touches of civilization and feeling completely detached and a part of nature. An area which is full of wildlife, birds, small animals, and even deer in the surrounding forests. You don't always see them, but you definitely feel like you're in their space. But gradually the landscape starts to shift. The path rises, the trees close in, and it starts to feel like a proper hike. And then the rocks appear. Shaped over millions of years, slowly revealed as everything above them wore away, leaving behind these strange, almost playful forms. Some of them even have names, like the Hamburger Rock, which kind of speaks for itself. Walking through here, you really feel like you're exploring an alien landscape and witnessing nature's artistic talent. And eventually, past all of the many rock formations, you reach the top. And this is the reward for a long journey. These are the remains of Bismarck Tower, built in the late 19th century during the Prussian period. It once stood prominently here, but today only fragments remain. I stopped here for a while, sat on the rocks, had a bite to eat, and just took it all in as you see the valley before you lay out, and you really appreciate just how beautiful this landscape really is. Karkonosze at its finest. And then the way down. Descending through what feels like a labyrinth of ancient stone. Giant boulders everywhere. Twisting paths. Beautiful views. Some narrow passages and rock formations closing in around you. It almost feels otherworldly, and this is where the journey really begins to change. And then small reminders that people have passed through here long before you. Quiet, almost hidden, and still part of the landscape. For me, this really felt like stepping into another place entirely. The landscape completely changing, the exploration becoming more exciting, and the descent, of course, becoming a lot sharper. I'm pretty glad that I didn't decide to ascend this way. These rock tunnels perfectly incorporated into the path. You can't help but wonder if these were deliberately cut for humans, or whether it was just natural erosion that allowed you to explore. And Góra Witosza, definitely worth it. A little bit of graffiti, of course, on the way. And dotted here and there are lots of random little caves. Some of them you can explore, others they've kind of fenced off. But everything adds to the adventure. These stone steps laid by human hands. And a real sense of mystery on every step of this journey. and a slight danger with every step you take. The Sudetes or Karkonosze, they are very good at boasting these giant basalts, remnants of nature, shaped through the millennia and adding a real character. And here a reminder of the timeline of life. And just like that, you're back. From forest, from rock and silence to this Staniszów. This is Pałac Staniszów, originally a Renaissance manor, later rebuilt in a grand Baroque style in the 18th century, and rebuilt for one of the noble families who shaped this entire valley. And this is what defines this area. Not just nature, but estates like this, built as retreats, places to escape to, surrounded by landscape, but very deliberately designed. And you can still feel that here. The space, the layout, everything designed to be experienced slowly, which, after that descent, I was more than happy to do. I stopped here for a while, gave my feet a rest, and just took it all in. A wonderful little garden to explore. And I could easily have cut moments from this footage, but I think it's better to show you what I really encountered. I didn't want to rush this video. I wanted this video to be a monument to just how beautiful the scenery is in this part of Poland. And although I didn't go inside this palace, I almost felt like I didn't need to. The exterior gave me everything I needed. And although my feet were still killing me at this point, I had to explore every nook and cranny and really show the best views. But now we're going to head back to the village of Stanisław, which is pretty old, dating back to the 14th century. Here, a ram, I think a testament to its kind of religious origins. And taking in all the sights along the way as we head to our next stop. But as you see, there are little pieces of history dotted all around, areas being beautifully curated. The pride that people take in their gardens here, in the landscape itself. Nothing feels overgrown, everything feels moderated. And now we get to Pałac na Wodzie, or Pałac Wodny. Built in the late 18th century for the Rus family, and designed to sit within the landscape rather than dominate it. The water, the reflections, the symmetry, everything here feels intentional. I actually stopped here properly, sat outside, had a beer, and let the place do its thing. And what's interesting about this valley is that places like this weren't isolated. They were part of a much bigger network of estates, owned by powerful families, shaping both the land and the culture of the region. And at least this palace I could have a sneaky look at the interior. And when I was picking this route, I turned to my poster full of castles and palaces, and this region of Poland is certainly one where you find the densest concentration. So I had to tick as many off my list as possible. But eventually, it was time to move on. And even along the way, more reminders of the past. There were churches and estates, layers of history sitting side by side, adding that real cultural and historical depth to a region dominated by nature. But these points add that humans can make even the most beautiful nature scenes just a little bit more. And back into nature again. At this point, it was starting to feel like a long day, but there was still one more climb to go. Going uphill one final time, telling my feet that life would soon get easier for them, and taking in the familiar landscapes, the dense networks of trees, the curated pathways through nature. And then through the trees, something appears. Not just the lizard, but Zamek Henrika. Built in the early 19th century, but designed to look much older. This isn't a defensive castle, it's what's known as a romantic ruin, built to evoke the feeling of history rather than actually be part of it. And in a way, local legends even link it romantically to nearby Henrik Castle, via star-crossed lovers tunneling underground, just across the valley. A real medieval fortress with its own legends. I've actually explored that one separately, and it's a completely different experience. But this one still makes you work for it. And by this point, I was definitely feeling it. But once you reach the top, it's worth it. Views across the valley, the reservoir, and the mountains beyond. Even a small exhibit inside. And important to note, this place is cash only. If you want to buy a souvenir, if you want to enter the tower, or grab a drink or a snack, yes, you will need some zloty in your pocket. This was my last intentional stop. And at this point, I thought to myself, I can get down back to the civilization and get a bus. But things had other plans. Because getting down was no easier, and by now the fatigue was really starting to set in. But I was allowed a few more natural spots on the way before the mountain would finally let me free. And then came what felt like the longest stretch of the entire walk. Just a straight road pushing forward, trying to get to the end. At this point, I was exhausted, feet burning, energy gone, just focused on getting there. A clearly residential estate, but finally, crossing the river, everything starts to slow down again. And ending here at the Szafgotsch Palace, built in the late 18th century after earlier buildings on this site were destroyed. Another reminder of just how much history is layered into this region. I even stopped for a moment, sat down and took my boots off, just to let the day catch up with me. A kind local stopped to check if I was okay, which at this point I probably didn't look at. And then Cieplice itself is one of the oldest spa towns in Poland, known for its thermal springs for centuries. And after a walk like this, it feels like the perfect place to finish. What started as a simple walk turned into something much more. A real test of endurance, but one that was completely worth it. This is what makes this area special. It's not just about the mountains, but the layers in between. Nature, history, and everything that's been left behind or brought back to life. And this spa town was a nice bonus. And to be honest, I intend to go back one day, maybe next time I'm around Jelenia Góra. But all of this is just one part of the story. Because the Jelenia Góra Valley is full of places like this. Palaces, parks, hidden routes, and unexpected journeys. And there's still a lot more to explore. In our next episode, we will show you the Valley of the Palaces and something very, very unique that Poland has. Something you will not find anywhere else in the world. But for now, I've been a Brit in Poland. I hope you've enjoyed the scenery. Please give the video a like. Please follow my channel. And I'll see you again soon with more beautiful coverage of this amazing country. Do zobaczenia.